Some Portland businesses were stuck repairing windows and dealing with graffiti today after yet another riot in downtown Portland. Welcome to KGW News at 5 o'clock. It came on the one-year anniversary of George Floyd's murder and followed a peaceful march in his honor. Morgan Romero shows us the damage.
A crowd of about 200 demonstrators dressed in black gathered outside the Justice Center around 8. Some spray painted the building and set off fireworks. They lit a dumpster on fire and pushed it close to the Justice Center. Police said some of the crowd threw bottles, eggs, and metal spikes at officers. Just before 10, the crowd marched to Portland City Hall and broke windows, and police declared a riot. Then the crowd marched through downtown, breaking windows at multiple businesses, big and small. Pinkham's Millinery,
I've been in this location going on 10 years.
Had its old windows smashed overnight.
It's not a simple glass repair.
Demonstrators broke the door at Taw Bags and Adorn.
And we had just had our window shattered like probably a week prior. So we're gonna have to close the store again. I think just closing the store is a huge loss.
This on top of construction, a pandemic, and a slew of other issues downtown battering business.
I'm already worried that I'd even make it through this year, and this definitely sets me back quite a bit. So I'm mentally preparing for that, the possibility of having to close.
After months of destruction, business owners,
it's exhausting.
Yeah, it really is.
Feel drained.
It's disheartening. It's like a crushing blow when you're already struggling.
Yeah,
That was Morgan Romero reporting. Walker and Pinkham are trying to stay optimistic about their futures, and they hope security cameras caught whoever did this. Meanwhile, police arrested 5 people Tuesday night. All were at least charged with criminal mischief, and one was charged with arson. Just after midnight tonight, Oregon's most populated county will leave the restrictions of high risk, maybe forever. The county will move to the lower risk rules because 65% of adults have at least one COVID shot. Pat Doris tells us that's a big deal for several businesses.
There is probably no one more excited about the change in risk level restrictions Thursday than the restaurant and lodging industry in Multnomah County. Thursday, restaurants can have 50% capacity inside and out with no upper limit on the number of people. That's a huge change from the current restrictions of 25% capacity or 50 people, whichever is less. And, says Restaurant and Lodging Association CEO Jason Brandt, those eased up rules will not change.
This is better for Multnomah County than just getting into lower risk. They are locked into lower risk at 50% without total person caps for the amount of people on site, and they get to stay there until the risk categories are gone entirely. So that's great news for the operators in the county.
He said some restaurants are already seeing as much business as they can handle and are now looking for more employees. Other changes include indoor recreation, gyms, and others move from a limit of 25% or 50 people to a full 50% capacity. Theaters and concert halls, restricted as well to 25% or 50 people under high risk, can now open to 50% capacity. And retail stores, held at 50% capacity under high-risk restrictions, will be allowed to reach 75% of their maximum occupancy. But the move Thursday does not come without warnings. Multnomah County's Public Health Department issued an advisory urging everyone, vaccinated or not, to keep wearing masks indoors, despite the CDC guidance that they are not needed for those fully vaccinated and Governor Brown's assurance that Oregon would follow the CDC guidelines. I asked Multnomah County Public Health Director Jessica Guernsey if she thought it would make a difference in the spread of the virus.
I would not recommend something like this if I didn't think it made a difference. We have seen physical distancing and face covers and masks play an absolutely crucial role leading up to the vaccinations.
But if it's people who are fully vaccinated who are not wearing masks, what difference would that make if they are wearing a mask?
It's more about trying to determine who's vaccinated and who's not in an indoor setting.
She said it was too hard for businesses to check to see who is vaccinated or not. But it's one more bit of confusion in an already complex web of rules and regulations that are different in various counties. This statewide map shows high-risk counties in the orange, moderate in yellow, low risk in green. We've already turned Multnomah to green. But you get the idea. There are different restrictions in each of those risk levels. Miles E. Shia from the Grocery Workers Union, UFCW 555, said more confusion is bad because it can lead to confrontations between workers and customers.
The most important thing is we have to remember that we in Oregon need solid and consistent guidelines. So right now we have the CDC, the OHA, counties, and store policies, and there's not really an official bottom line.
After months and months and months of living with these restrictions, they're finally beginning to fade at least a little bit here in Multnomah County. Thursday may very well feel like the beginning of the end. In Northeast Portland, Pat Doris, KGW News.
Isn't that great to hear? But with continued mixed messaging on masks, we wanted to ask an expert on airborne disease transmission his opinion to find out if he recommends ditching the mask after you're vaccinated. Since the pandemic began, Portland State University professor Dr. Richard Corsi has stressed the importance of wearing face coverings. The internationally recognized expert on indoor air quality has advocated that people wear masks from the very beginning. So what does he say about them now?
I'm doing things now that I wasn't doing before I was fully vaccinated. But at the same time, keep your wits about you and keep your guard up. I still wear a mask if I have to go into an indoor environment that's densely occupied. If I have to go to the doctor, I wear a mask.
That's because the vaccine provides 90 to 95% protection. In other words, even when vaccinated, the risk is not zero. But when it comes to outdoor gatherings or events or even just walking downtown, Corsi says as long as you're fully vaccinated, you don't need to wear a mask. There is a new call today for Oregon's governor to end the vaccine verification mandate. It comes from a group that supports limited government, and it comes with the threat of a lawsuit. Tim Gordon has more.
Oregon's governor just got a demand letter telling her to drop the vaccine passport mandate or expect a fight in court. The letter came from the conservative Freedom Foundation.
The message is very clear. She needs to rescind the order immediately.
Jason Dudash is Freedom Foundation's Oregon director. He argues that requiring vaccine verification of people entering without a mask is unconstitutional and unnecessary.
Why not say this is a mistake? We apologize, and we do trust that Oregonians who have all made immense sacrifices over the last year to get us to this point are not going to stop until we get over this finish line, and there's no need for this regressive policy making.
Oregon's House Republicans are also calling on Brown to change course.
My constituents really want the governor to allow the honor system.
Representative Christine Drazen is House Republican leader. She signed the letter her side sent the governor on Tuesday, taking issue with requiring proof of vaccination.
And that is counter to White House recommendations. It's counter to what ACLU is recommending. It's counter to the CDC. It's not in line with Washington or California. We're really going our own way on this one, and we really shouldn't.
Our reporting shows many businesses aren't following Oregon's rules anyway. That includes some heavy hitters like Costco and Walmart. We talked to Governor Brown about this on Monday.
Is there any ramification or consequence?
Well, certainly Oregon OSHA has the ability to enforce the law, but right now I think we should all be focused on getting our vaccination rates.
Now, Oregon OSHA tells me they've not issued any citations or fines yet, but it doesn't sound like Brown is backing down on the mandate itself.
Her office issued a statement today saying in part, Oregon's guidance was meant to give businesses options in reacting to the CDC's announcement and to give them a choice between implementing new verification procedures or keeping their current health and safety measures in place. Brown also talks about refining the state's approach. Those who oppose the policy want more.
We're going to hopefully give her a week. I think that it's very likely that she will rescind this mandate. She's entirely alone.
Tim Gordon, KGW News.
Protesters showed up today to a vaccine clinic at a high school in Ridgefield. The clinic was meant for anyone 12 and up to come and get a vaccine. The protesters held signs like, "Children are not lab rats." They don't trust the safety of the vaccine. Healthcare workers say the misinformation is getting old.
Well, actually, it starts about a year ago, March, and we are pretty much doing the same thing, different day. We are tired of it. We think that we like to set an example for the community and say that we need to get this vaccine done, and we need to get it done as soon as possible for public health. The experts have spoken. I trust the experts. I trust the science.
Extensive testing has shown the vaccine is safe and effective for the vast majority of people. A Beaverton woman who developed blood clots after getting the J&J vaccine is talking about the scare. It happened after the pause on the vaccine because of similar cases. Doctors found blood clots in her lungs, stomach, brain, and throat.
I never expected to hear that, to tell you the truth. It was devastating. I was very scared that I wasn't ever going to see my home again or my family.
Doctors say Buchanan had blood clots with low platelets. It's the pattern seen in cases the CDC initially paused the J&J vaccine for. Doctors say it's very rare and people should not be afraid of getting the vaccine. Buchanan spent several days at the hospital and was released earlier this week.